What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Six Pack YouTube channel for the Week 8 game preview show. I'm your host, Dylan Clemens. Here with me, as they are every single Friday, Michael Plant and Ike Bonnie. What's up, fellas?
Hey.
Oh, not much. Just talking shit behind the scenes.
Of course, all the time. All the time.
We're gonna talk shit on the scenes later. We already talked about how we're gonna talk shit on the scenes before the scenes. It's a very Inception type, conversation.
Absolutely. But before we get to the shit talking and the game previews, guys, I just want to remind you, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you don't already. And head on over to fantasy6pack.net/plans and become an all-access member, where all it takes is $9.99, guys, a month, and you get access to our award-winning ranking, access to our draft cheat sheets, access to the Discord, where you get custom advice for your league and DFS builds, and direct access to our F6P team, which is pretty much the best part of it, guys. And like I said, just $9.99 a month. I literally went to Starbucks yesterday and got a coffee. $10.02 was my total.
Why would you do that?
I was feeling it, man. It was pretty good.
I was gonna say it was either that or Ashley.
Can you make a better coffee for $5 less?
Not a better one, but a sufficient one.
I just drink, yeah, for sure. Like Mike said, sufficient. I just use the regular Keurig with the off-brand coffee.
It'll get the job done, but it won't taste as good.
Yeah, exactly.
Coffee sucks.
Really? I knew that. You're not a coffee drinker, right?
He's a natural ice type.
I'm a what?
You're a natural ice type, he said. With the beer you're drinking. Are you an energy drink, Ike, or where do you get your caffeine if you're not a coffee drinker then?
Just wake up and deal with it, bro.
See, that's wild to me, man. That really is. Michael Platt, what's your thing? Coffee or energy drink?
Big time coffee. Probably about 2-3 cups.
I haven't had an energy drink in probably a decade, to be honest.
Same. That was one of the things that I gave up.
Other than like a Jaeger, or what was the one with the
cherry bomb or
yeah,
Jaeger
something like that.
Yeah. No, I hear you. But all right, guys.
Alcoholic.
Good one.
Let's jump into the beat of the show. What everyone's been waiting to listen
Says
to.
the dude who's drinking beer right away.
I was hoping you would notice that. I was gonna say, do I have to point it out?
Cheers, everybody! Drinking the champagne of beers tonight. All right.
Show the natural light.
First game we got here, fellas. The Houston Texans taking on the Carolina Panthers. Ike, do you like the chances of a top 12 week for Dameon Pierce and Nico Collins in a pretty solid matchup against the Carolina team that's been, let's be real, they're pretty brutal.
It's a very good matchup for him. Actually, Carolina is giving up the third most rush yards, most touchdowns to running backs, and the second most fantasy points. Unfortunately, Dameon Pierce is one of the most inefficient running backs in the league right now. He's averaging.
Najee Harris can beat him.
I think Najee is still being 2.9 yards per carry.
This is true. He's at, I think it was 3.7.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, dude, that's bad. And he was outsnapped by Singletary last game significantly. It was 33 to 54 in Singletary's favor. So, I mean, it's a good matchup. So he's still borderline RB2, but you should have a better option this week, to be honest.
I really like the matchup, and I'd like to think that offensive line has gotten healthy, hopefully coming out of the bye week, and hopefully they've had more time to gel, and it just gets better.
I'd rather play Darrell Henderson. I know we're going to get to him later, but I'd rather play him.
I think you might just be spiteful because you wasted your number one waiver claim on Zach Evans, and then Darrell
That does
Henderson
make me mad because they don't even want to give him a shot, but no, he looked better. I mean, Henderson scored more points than Pierce has all year in the game.
True.
Like, did you answer the Nico Collins part?
His
top 12
top 12 is a little too high, but I think he's a fine wide receiver too. He's going to get his targets. He is obviously the first read option, the number one option.
Sure.
You got to start him, fire him up.
And then let me rewind back to this. Man, I'm such a good host. Just kicking it back to the Dameon Pierce, Devin Singletary conversation real quick. Do you think there's a chance Singletary could take over this backfield over Dameon Pierce, or do you just see it becoming, or do you see it becoming maybe a 50-50 split?
More 50-50, but I don't see Singletary ever fully taking over because unless Pierce keeps up this inefficiency, man, it's bad. And Singletary is outplaying him in every way pretty much. But I still lean Pierce for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. Heading over to the Carolina side of the things. And we know at this point, even with nobody on bye, you're probably starting Adam Thielen in your lineups, right? Like real quick, who would you rather start, Nico Collins or Adam Thielen?
Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
Mike? All right, right on. But let me get to the question I want to ask
low,
you, Mike.
man.
This one's more interesting than I think anybody anticipated, right? Coming out of the bye, who would you rather start, Chuba Hubbard or Miles Sanders, Mike LaPlante?
In 3 out of the 5 weeks, Chuba and Sanders played together. Sanders outsnapped Chuba in those games. So when they're both on the field and healthy, I want Sanders because of the volume. But let's be real, Chuba has been better with the volume. So like it's reluctant, but here's the thing, and this is kind of like the caveat for Sanders over Chuba, is he's just more involved in the passing game. Tied for 13th in RB targets, and he missed a game. Hubbard's at 31st with Amari. Well, yeah, with our buddy Dr. Mercado. So
JV in the chat, yeah.
So like he's already like. Dr. Mercado's already got as many targets as Chuba has, and he's played more games. So it's like, I mean, I won't be surprised if Chuba carves out a larger role in the second half of the season. But right now, if I, gun to my head, give me Sanders.
Yeah, but what is Sanders' targets the past 3 games he's been healthy though?
Let me look it up then.
6, 8.
While he's looking that up,
13.
Okay, that's not
3
bad.
games. Yeah, 13 to Chuba's 5.
Then just kind of a
There's
question.
There's a reason
to
he's 13th in the targets.
But he has scored only over 10. Once maybe?
It's. Damn it! I don't. Now I gotta look.
Anyways, go on, Dylan.
I want to know, and I think a lot of people want to know, the number 1 overall pick, Bryce Young. Do you feel he's going to have a better? I guess this is his second half of the season starting now after the bye week, or do you think he's just going to kind of keep treading water like he has been recently?
I think he's going to be treading water. Honestly, I think C.J. Stroud was the better pick. Bryce Young looks... Granted, they didn't give him anything to work with, I guess, but Houston didn't give C.J. Stroud anything to work with. Nico wasn't supposed to be this good
Nico
either.
And Tank Dell, yep.
It just goes to show that C.J. Stroud is actually more developed than Bryce Young, I suppose. Yeah, Bryce Young still has the potential, but right now I don't know.
Yeah, CJ Stroud's definitely the better processor right now. That is for sure.
Which is weird because before the draft they were saying like, oh, he did so bad on that test or whatever, or he can't process or read a defense, and here he is just breaking records as a rookie.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Mike, you got anything to add before we move on, or can we just jump over the next one?
Just want to answer. He's got 2 games over 10-plus points this year.
Is that full point PPR or half point PPR?
We talk full point PPR here. Joe shows half, or we cover the full.
Yep. And it's not anything impressive. Like maybe highest 12?
No, 11.8 and 17.2. Here's the thing: it's the first 4 weeks. I mean, if you minus the injury game, the first 4 weeks he got 6 targets, 5 targets, and 9 targets. Yeah. So it's like, and he got in the first 2 weeks 18 rushing.
Yeah, with Bryce Young, he's gonna get targets because
exactly.
Let's be honest.
I like it.
Is he gonna be able to see over the line?
Probably not.
Easy with that.
Bill, he's as tall as you.
I mean, you only got maybe 2 inches.
5'8.5". Only man sucks. I thought I was 5'10" my whole life, and
you were
last
shrinking.
time I went to the doctors, and then just shoot me down. But anyways, the next game we got here. Los Angeles Rams taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Pretty intrigued by this matchup, actually. Ike, and you kind of teased Darrell Henderson a little bit earlier, saying you would rather play him over Dameon Pierce. So does that make him a top 24 guy this week?
Yes. I mean, since Pierce is borderline top 24, and I like Henderson more, obviously he's got to be a top 24. He out-touched Freeman 19-12. His snap percentage was over 50%. He looks somewhat explosive, I guess. But, I mean, I don't really like this whole backfield. I feel like they're going to go with a committee. And who knows, maybe in the next coming weeks they're finally going to get Zach Evans involved. But I doubt it.
Yeah, we'll see about that, man. But I
I'm
mean,
holding out hope.
it's not like Darrell Henderson looked fantastic. We know what he is. He's just a guy.
I think what it is his pass blocking.
He's
I've
a
been
guy
seeing
they trust.
videos on Twitter
And he-
where
exactly,
his pass
Mike.
blocking
And
is
he owns-
phenomenal.
knows
Well,
the offense for sure.
The offense hinges on Matthew Stafford, and Matthew Stafford hinges on the offensive line. And the
Yeah,
offensive
because he
line
can't
right now
move for
is
shit.
the offensive line is a little banged up. I saw that Havenstein was on the injury report, so like they're gonna be playing Darrell Henderson.
He's going to play a lot, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
the
gonna,
pass pro for him,
Yeah.
for Micah Parsons and DeMarcus.
Yep. Mike, how
How
are
about
you
Zach
feeling?
Evans not even seeing one fucking
Are
snap?
you gonna give us like a Matthew Berry rant over here?
No, I'm just glad I didn't spend any fab on him. It was just our waiver. I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I
number
get
one,
that
number
there's
one
no-
waiver.
I don't care. But at least I didn't spend like $100. I've seen some people do, or like 50 or whatever. It's like, imagine that he doesn't get one fucking snap.
Then obviously Cooper Kupp, wide receiver 1 this week. You got Puka Nacua slotted into a wide receiver 2 role. Mike, you're probably drooling over him. after
Borderline
last
wide
week.
receiver 1, to be honest.
Yeah, he's exactly. He's a fringe wide receiver 1 with his ceiling, and like he's
Sure.
he's basically what Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith were last year to Cooper Kupp. Like,
Devontae Smith, AJ Brown.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Those two
Jalen
can
Waddle,
eat.
Tyreek.
If there was a full season from Cooper Kupp, those two could easily
Like-
finish one or top 12 both.
I looked at it like on the year, Puka Nacua has the highest target share out of any receiver. That's over AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, and it's not like the Rams aren't throwing the ball either. We're talking 5 games over 10 plus targets, and then we got 2 games of 15 plus. So it's he's borderline fringe.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 1.
Yeah, I get
I
that for
agree.
sure. And with the emergence of him, it's pretty much killed Tyler Higbee. And even with how bare the cupboards are at the tight end position, you still don't want to play
Killed
Tyler
Tutu.
Higbee right now. He's
Killed
No,
not-
Tutu still gets touchdowns
Yeah.
randomly.
But that's touchdown dependency. We
In
don't
deeper
want that.
leagues, you gotta try it.
Tutu
I get
deserves to be rostered still. He just needs to sit on your bench and then a bye
Yeah,
week filler when we
agreed.
get more bye weeks.
Agreed.
Looking at the Cowboys side of things though, Mike, been a pretty up and down season for Dak. More bad than good, but was pretty good in his last start. How are you feeling about him in this matchup against the Los Angeles Rams? You're muted, my friend. There's a dollar.
Damn
in
it!
the
Damn it! Damn
dollar
it!
in the
Damn it!
jar.
Damn it! Add like 4 to the swear jar for those 4 dams too. No, he's damn it! I can't believe I keep doing that. At least I'm not drinking natural ice.
Once a week, my friend. It is what it is. I can I
He's
come
cute.
to expect it.
You know what? Listen to my beer. He's QB 19 the past 3 games, averaging 14 and a half in those games. That's less than Stafford, who's on the other side of this matchup here at 14.7. So the thing here is like Dak is kind of like Trevor Lawrence a little bit here. He's only had 2 games with 2 plus total touchdowns. And one of them was actually 2 passing touchdowns. The other one was a passing and rushing. So there's really no ceiling here without the touchdowns. So, I mean, because there's no bye weeks, you can find a better option than Dak this week. So I'd preferably be sitting him. In your matchup, though, I would probably start him because I know who your 2 options are.
Oh, yeah. I'm okay with it, but what I really liked in his last matchup was the way he finally got CD involved. And there was some talk that CD was upset in his role, and of course, once that happens, you use the shit out of him.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some people to start doing that, like Cooper Kupp or something.
Where's T. Higgins? When can he get pissed off?
Hey, we're gonna
When
get
he's-
there soon.
when
I
he's
can't wait
healthy.
till you bring him.
All right. But Mike, looking at the tight end side of things, and we talked about it a little bit when I mentioned Higbee above, the cupboards are bare. And Jake Ferguson at times this season was looking like he was going to be a solid option because Dak likes to target tight ends. But this week with nobody on buys, how are you feeling about Fergie?
Again, nobody on buys. You can find somebody else over Ferguson. The past 3, like, here's the thing. Here was the caveat to him. And I think it was Jamie who mentioned it maybe, a couple weeks ago, but he was leading the tight ends in red zone targets with 11. All right. I want to say it was like 3 weeks ago, but you guys know my memory. So past 3 games, he's 25th in tight end targets. Not good. He's only got 2 red zone targets in those 3 games. And believe it or not, he's tied with Kelsey right now in tight end zone targets with still 11. So no, I mean, he's been inflated because of week 1. He had 5 targets in the red zone. So find somebody else. I know the Rams love to give up tight end points here, but I wouldn't be surprised if Shoemaker gets the touchdown.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I'm looking elsewhere as well at the tight end position. Let's head on over to the next game. We got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Green Bay Packers. NFC.
I don't want to talk about this
matchup. Yes, you do.
This is my favorite question.
I want to talk about this because this intrigues me, and I want to know, Ike. I want to know your feelings, man. Alexander Madison, Cam Akers, rest of the season. Hit me.
This one game.
I don't like this one because it can literally go either way.
Don't overreact. It's one game.
I mean,
he's asking you that question because Cam Akers got more work against the Niners. It was kind of a hot hand. Gets.
He got more work with less snaps.
Exactly my point.
Snaps, he's got to be better than Madison. Plus, Madison has seen less than 10 carries in back-to-back games. So, I mean, it's not like he's getting used very much.
Who's better?
The guy.
You're asking me questions that are just, they're literally the same.
They're subjective.
Like, I don't want either one. They're both the same type of player. One is slightly better in PPR because I guess Madison can get more targets, but one in half PPR and standard is better because Akers is going to get the carries.
I mean, we don't even know that because it was one game. It was one game that Akers got. It's not like Cam Akers just got traded last week.
But it's back-to-back games where he's had less than 10 carries. So, I mean, he's clearly not the carry running back. He is the PPR running back.
I just think it's interesting because Akers is acclimating to the offense and more he gets more weeks. I'm just wondering when the point of that is going to stop. Is it going to stop where he finally just takes over as the lead back, or if it's Alexander Madison, but it doesn't seem like anybody knows.
I personally think Akers is going to take over because I think he's more talented than Madison, but when is that? I don't know. So that means I don't really want either running back to start right now.
I just wouldn't be surprised if it's running back by committee. The way that, like, the Niners are a good opponent, and pretty much the Vikings went all out to win that game. That was their season on the line. So, like, they threw the kitchen sink at him, and they used both running backs. So, like,
Akers more, so that's gotta show something.
It does show a little bit of something there in a tough matchup like that. So I still think it's going to be more of like a 60-40, 50-50 type of relationship.
All right. Yeah.
It might even be 50-50, 55-45. Like it's going to be where you don't really want to start either one.
Yeah.
Unless you're in deep leagues.
Hopefully by the time we get to the fantasy playoffs, someone has taken a hold of the backfield and you could use one of the guys, whether it's one or the other.
In week 13's next by apocalypse, you can probably use Madison. 6 teams on bye in week 13. So
at that point, I'd rather have Akers.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Yep. Next team here, we got the Green Bay Packers, Mike, and I think us three were all big fans of Aaron Jones heading into this season, and he just hasn't been able to stay healthy and get in a rhythm or anything. Do you think finally he's not on the injury report? I know what LaFleur said today that he doesn't feel like Jones is 100%.
I don't like getting the Packers questions. Don't do this again.
Do you think there's a chance Aaron Jones could break out, or with nobody on bye, do you just want to sit him on your bench until he shows it to you?
No, I mean, here's the thing. If he's 100%, if you trust LaFleur, which me personally, I do not.
No, LaFleur said he's not.
Oh, he's not
He's
100%?
not 100%. Yeah, they said he's going to
See,
take it
It's
easy.
Fugazi.
that's the thing. I mean, is it coach speak or not? Like, I don't know. I'm not a doctor here. I hope Aaron Jones is healthy as a Packer fan. Don't get me wrong, because that's the motor to that offense. And the Vikings, I mean, it's a good defense to go against running backs here. CMC was RB5 last week, even though they lost. DeAndre Swift broke out the first game. He got the workload and was RB4. And then you had Pacheco sprinkle in an RB13 against them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, good running backs can score on this defense. I looked at the stats against the Vikings, and he's got 829 total yards in 9 games. So, almost about 100 a game. Averages basically 3 receptions a game. So there you go. You got a 3-point, floor just right there. But all 5 of his touchdowns are rushing, which really kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
He doesn't have a single receiving touchdown against them. So, like, it makes me want to go to, talk to Allen and be like, hey, 9 games here, no receiving touchdowns. We're talking about a guy that receives the ball here. Should I bet for a receiving anytime touchdown for Aaron Jones this week? Like, so, yeah, I start him, basically.
And that Aaron Jones was someone who us 3 liked. Christian Watson, on the other hand, I don't think either 3 of us were real high on him like a lot of the industry was this offseason. Is he, at this point, someone you want to sit on your bench? Like, you'd much rather start Jordan Addison than Christian Watson? Would you start KJ Osborne or Christian Watson this week?
Watson.
Against I would, because the Vikings have a softer matchup on the cornerbacks, where I know Jair's probably gonna miss another game, which is just upsetting. But Rasul Douglas is still better than the cornerbacks that the Vikings have, and Eric Stokes, hopefully, I know he's questionable too, but I still think the secondary is better for the Packers, where it's going to give a tougher matchup for Osborne, where Addison might shine a little bit because it's going to be tougher to cover him because he's a speedster, and that's who they struggle against.
Mm-hmm.
So give me Watson still. It's ugly though, because he's boomer bust.
Yeah. Yes, he is. Next game here on the schedule, we got the New Orleans Saints taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, rocky road so far this year. Where do you have these pass catchers ranked?
Actually, Olave is kind of back a little bit after his 2-game slump, where he averaged 5.5 targets, 1.5 catches, and 8 yards in those 2 games. He is now averaging 5.5 targets, 7 catches, 76.5 yards.
Sure.
So
he was averaging 8 yards.
He wasn't during his 2-game slump. Pretty impressive. Now it's completely different. He's back ingrained into the offense. I don't know what those 2 games were. Maybe they were like, hey, let's get Kamara the ball so he feels like he's important or something.
It was Derek Carr with the shoulder injury, right?
That's what too. Yeah, that touche. Yeah, because in the past 2 games, Olave has out-targeted Kamara anyway. So clearly, this dude is the alpha in the offense.
Yeah. Yep.
He's a wide receiver too. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, that's fair. How about Michael Thomas though? He's not somebody that I care for.
I'm worried. First of all, let me interject here. I'm worried about it because you drafted Chris Olave as your wide receiver 1 this year, and you're telling me he's the wide receiver 2 the rest of the year.
You gotta take your lumps, man.
Yeah,
that's a disappointment.
It's not as disappointing as Devonta Smith, Michael Plant.
Which we'll get to, or Calvin Ridley, which I'm also going to get to. So I can't wait.
Exactly.
It's valid. I'll give you that. It's valid.
And even had guys like Puka Nacua, Nico Collins take their place. Like, even we skipped over CD. CD's like barely a top 20 wide receiver on the season.
I mean,
too.
Garrett Wilson's probably been the biggest disappointment out of it, though. But I mean,
no,
because
because we'll get to him later, but he's seen fucking 12 plus targets in 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
So
just keep teasing it. Just keep teasing
don't just
everybody.
woohoo that because you're the volume fucking.
I do like it, but I also say that there is a difference between.
I don't care. Shut up. We're talking about.
Not all targets are created equal.
He is risky wide receiver 3 flex play, even though he's finished 2 of the past 3 games as a wide receiver 3.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say he's been more. Floor. He's been more pleasant than Olave because let's be real, you got Thomas in the teen rounds, and he's been better than Olave for the most part, like at least more consistent.
Yeah,
touchdowns will come for Olave. I feel like Michael Thomas, honestly, probably is going to be out of New Orleans within a week.
Yes, give me all the Rashid Shaheed dynasty right now, man. He's just going to slide into that Michael Thomas, and
he's still getting the looks too, man.
He gets I know.
Threats. He's seen some red zone threats too. So yeah,
I'm real interested in Rashid Shaheed after this season. So
I'm more interested in Derek Carr's shoulder healing.
Yeah, and I think it is.
I'm sure most of New Orleans is too.
Oh, man. Looking at the Colts side of things, and we know whose shoulder is not going to heal this year, Michael Plan, and that's Anthony Richardson, who did have a successful shoulder surgery and hoping for the best as he comes back. But, Mike, with Gardner Minshew at quarterback, Josh Downs has really emerged. Do you think he's made his way into must-start territory, even with nobody on bye this week and everybody at everybody at full strength?
For all the shit I give you for questions, this is a good one. No, he's not must start. All right. But he is a good wide receiver 3 flex play because of nobody being on bye. I mean, if he was on bye, obviously the floor raises a little bit here. He's wide receiver 13 the past 3 games. We love that. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. All right. But only 2 top 25 finishes. Week 5, wide receiver 18. And week 7, wide receiver 4.
That's pretty good though.
So he's on the field less than Pierce. A 92.
He's a slot receiver.
Yeah. Yep. So I mean, he's just doing more. He's good. He's talented. That's pretty much all I can say. Is he's Marvin Mims, but he's getting more snaps. You know what I mean?
He's Josh Downs is a nice player, man. For how small and slight he is very, very solid. He's everything everybody wanted Paris Campbell to be. That's what Josh Downs is.
But again, only about 7 targets on average the past 3 games. He's got 20 targets total. So it's a solid floor, but that's flex territory. That's especially when nobody's, we're not hammered by injuries and bye weeks. He's flex wide receiver 3 if you're desperate.
Yeah, sure. And then, Mike, looking at the backfield, Jonathan Taylor, we're to the point now where he's hop Zach Boss. As in, if you have both of these guys, you're starting Jonathan Taylor over Zach Boss. But has Zach done enough to stay fantasy relevant, even with JT taking control of this backfield?
It's really fucking weird when I was looking this up. They both saw the same amount of snaps last week, 35 to 35. They both saw the same amount of rushing attempts, 18 to 18.
Wow.
I mean, this is where it gets a little different. Yeah, it is interesting. It was very weird. Taylor got 4 targets to Moss's 2. All right, so, I mean, Moss still got some, so it's nice. We like that. That's 20 total touches for him. But the glaring difference was the red zone touches. Taylor had 7 to Moss's 0. So that'll
do it. Yep.
Yeah, that's a glaring difference. So, yeah, I mean, he's going to have relevancy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they used him basically as a 50-50 share right now. And he's going to get red zone attempts eventually. But, when it comes down to a game like the Colts had against the Browns where it was win or go home, they used Taylor in the red zone when it counted.
Yeah, fair. Wrong question. Albert's got a question for us right now. Michael Pittman, Joshua Palmer, full PPR, and JB says the big boss man Joe Bond has Michael Pittman wide receiver 24, Josh Palmer wide receiver 32 in his rankings for full PPR. Where would you guys lean here again. Michael Pittman, Josh Palmer. I think I slightly lean Pittman, even though I don't love the matchup against Lattimore, who is still decent at this point in his career. But
I'd
Pittman,
still go Pittman. I'm not the biggest Palmer fan.
I like Palmer. He's been good. He's the number 2 option in the Chargers offense, but Pittman's the number 1 option. So you played the number 1 option over the number 2.
that is fair. The
Oh,
next,
Yeah, I mean, I can give you more. I mean, Pittman's wide receiver 19 over the past 3 weeks. He's got 26 targets. I mean, you break that down, that's pretty much 9 a game. So, like, just more volume. Palmer's more at like 6-7 a game.
the pass catchers are benefiting with Gardner Minshew at the helm, though.
Yes, they are.
Which is nice.
And the running backs are too, because the touchdowns aren't getting vultured.
But we miss you, Anthony Richardson. Please come back healthy next year. Next game, we got the New England Patriots taking on the Miami Dolphins. Ike, kind of my waiver wire darling in my article.
This was my favorite question, by the way.
Do you think Kendrick Bourne can continue his hot streak and be considered as a flex play?
I do, because in 10-team leagues, it's a risky flex play. But in 12-teamers, fire him up, no chance, or automatically, because when given full starter snaps, dude has been kind of incredible.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually averaging 16.3 fantasy points when given the full starter snaps, which if you put that now, that would make him, was that wide receiver 16. So, I mean, he's been impressive when he's been on the field and healthy. So I would definitely fire him up for sure. He has 1 wide receiver, 1 finish, 2 wide receiver, 2 finishes. Yeah.
Does it scare you at all that Jalen Ramsey may play?
I don't think he will.
Yeah, and he's a little rusty, man, too. So no.
I say that because they got Xavier Howard as well. Like, it's one thing just to have Xavier Howard, and he's been struggling too.
Yeah, and he's been banged up as well.
Yeah, but to have both of them, I feel like would be just, it's always better. 2 is better than 1.
It's also worth mentioning he had 9 targets last time he played Miami. So
yeah, and I want to say that the Patriots chuck it, man. They're always down, it seems like, so they're always throwing the ball. Mac Jones is like top 12 in the league at pass attempts. So and like I said, Kendrick Bourne, Bill, just let him be the guy on this offense.
Yeah,
the wide receiver one. He's the alpha guy. It is what it is, man. It's also nice to see Ramondre Stevenson starting to figure it out on the ground as well. Miami Dolphins guys side of things. Mike, are we worried that Raheem Mostert is coming back down to earth, or is he just kind of boom or bust the rest of the season?
All right, I'm going to give you shit. Not a great question here.
Okay.
All right.
No, I was looking at his line, man, and I know he's had huge weeks, but there were a couple games where he had like 4 and then like 5 or 6, right? Or no?
So this wasn't even his worst finish of the year. All right. He was RB 35 last week when he was RB 43 against the Bills in week 4. So like, it's all right. He's still the number 2 running back in fantasy because in, any of those other 2 weeks, he's been a top 18 running back. All right. And when he gets 15 plus touches, he's pretty much guaranteed to be a top 5 running back. Each time he's gotten 15 plus touches, he's finished in the top 5 3 times, 5th, 2nd, and 1st. So, I mean, until A-Chain comes back, it's his backfield. I don't think Jeff Wilson makes that much of a
A-Chain's coming back here in a couple weeks, so that'll be interesting how it becomes to a split.
But right now you still play him.
Yeah, for sure. Tyreek Hill is a little banged up, but last I heard it sounds like he should be a go. And Jalen Waddle actually dealing with some stuff too. I know I was watching because I got Jalen Waddle in a few places, and he was really dealing with a back injury on Sunday night as well. So hopefully,
got to be all that Waddle.
We got to get this offense got to get healthy because it's the most fun thing to watch on Sundays when that thing is humming. That's for sure. We do got a question here from Clayton. Are we buying Derrick Henry might be going to Baltimore? How do we feel about it? I did see, Clay, before we hopped on here that the trade rumors have cooled The last
I say Cowboys for him.
the last few hours.
Jerry Jones won't. He said that he thinks he's got a good enough team. He's not going to make any moves.
What do you got? Go ahead.
we've
Sorry,
seen-
Mike. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say we've seen stranger things happen. I mean, look at I mean, I know it's years and years ago, but Herschel Walker got traded and supplied the Cowboys a dynasty. So, like,
I already have a feeling it's going to happen. He's going to Philly and
I was gonna say,
completely
I don't.
Swift.
I honestly don't even think he gets traded. Like, look at the landscape of the NFL. He gets paid in the teens when it comes to running back contracts. Nobody's going to want to pay a third, fourth round pick even for him, and they're going to want somebody because it's Derek fucking Henry.
That's
the
funny,
Buffalo Bills
Jamie,
price.
Jamie, that made me laugh.
But like, it's like nobody's going to be trading for Derrick Henry, unfortunately, just because the asking price is going to be too high, the contract's too high for the running back, and nobody really wants to pay running backs right now.
It should be the Bills. If anyone's going to trade for him, it should be the Bills. And I'm the biggest James Cook guy there is, and I'm saying that.
Dude, imagine that offense with Derrick Henry.
Awesome.
What the fuck?
Okay, let me phrase it this way, guys, and let's just maybe spend a minute on it. If Derrick Henry gets traded, and I know it's probably where he lands dependent, do you think that's a good thing? Or is he, no matter where he's going to go, is it worse because he's going to get less touches than what he did in Tennessee?
He's going to get less touches because he's going to have to learn the whole new game. He's going to have to learn a whole new playbook.
Albert brings up a great point right there, and I was just about to say, this is the last year of his contract. Like, if somebody's trading for him, they're going to use and abuse him because of what they had to trade to get him.
Well, then this isn't a money situation then, because
it's still a money situation because they'd have to pay
him, Mike. No, you're not.
Unless
trading for him as a rental. If you're the Bills, you're trading for him as a rental.
But here's the thing: salary caps are already met. Like, if you trade Derrick Henry, you got to meet the salary cap again, and it's not easy to cut 18 mil, I believe, or 15 mil what he's making. So that's the problem right there. But I just don't think he gets traded, and if he does get traded, totally he's going to get used into the ground because. Do you think the team that trades for him is going to re-sign him to a contract with all the miles on him?
No.
Probably not. Exactly. So why would you trade for him and not use him?
No, yeah. No, I hear both sides of it. That's why it's a good talking point, Clay, and I appreciate you bringing it up, my friend. But we got to hop back into
I just like arguing with Ike.
Of course you do. We got the Battle of New York or New Jersey. New Jersey, probably, right? But it's the New York Jets versus the New York Giants. I don't know. It's very weird.
I mean,
Battle of the Meadowlands.
the field's in New Jersey, so
yeah, right.
New Jersey.
Totally weird. Ike, the Giants defense has been playing much better. Are we worried about Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, or is it really just all systems go for these two this week?
I wouldn't even remotely be worried about Breece Hall. Giants have allowed the second most rush yards at 122 per game. Since given half the snaps, which is the past two games, Breece is averaging 21 touches per game, 24 fantasy points per game, RB4 during that stretch. So, I mean, if you aren't starting him, you're doing something wrong, unless you got freaking Christian McCaffrey and I can't even name off the top of my head another running back.
Little sneak peek. you can do what Breece Hall's doing, in week 7, week 6, when you only have a one ligament injury and not a multi-ligament injury. That's a little sneak peek.
Please stop, Dr.
Mike. We're gonna get to him later.
Well, Ike, let me just throw this at you. Who would you got to start 2 or 3? Saquon, Breece Hall, or Travis Etienne? Which guy are you sitting there? Say you went robust RB in your drafts. I know I just threw a good one at you.
I'd probably sit Saquon, to be honest. Etienne is on fire, and I think Breece Hall is one of the most talented running backs in the league.
I'd say Etienne. Tougher matchup.
Yeah.
You got really good talent.
We're talking about that game next
we're,
too. Yeah,
we're we're really nitpicking here with 3 really talented.
Yeah.
So like, just I'm gonna use the matchup as a tiebreaker. Steelers are a tougher matchup on the ground against running backs, and
I don't know, man. It might be tough for Barkley against the Jets. You're going against Quinnen Williams and shit, dude.
he gets more passing volume, especially when their fucking
I
other
guess,
receivers
yeah.
are Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton.
And Ike already mentioned about Garrett Wilson, how he's seen double-digit targets, so you're firing him up. All systems go. No
By the way,
he's a wide receiver 3 with those double-digit targets. Just so you know, he's
hold
like
on,
Allen Robinson 2.0 at this point.
Hold on. You keep saying Giants defense has been improved, but in the past 3 games, 2 of those games they've allowed a 100-yard receiver, and in the other game it was 90 yards to Terry McLaurin. So if Garrett Wilson can't get to 80, 90 yards or over 100, I don't know what to say. He should be able to.
Let me do my first take question here. Are you worried about this Jets offense because Zach Wilson went on vacation with his girlfriend during the bye week? Did you guys?
No, let the dude live, man. Let the kid live.
I thought that was funny. But Mike, the Giants side of things, we don't know if Daniel Jones is going to go yet, correct?
No, he's out.
Okay, he's out, and this offense might be a little better with Tyrod Taylor, anyways. Maybe, or maybe it's
no. Don't even. No, it's been better with Tyrod
this
Taylor.
year. This year, yes,
it has been better with Tyrod Taylor, and I hope Daniel Jones can turn it around. But Tyrod Taylor has looked better in this offense. Let's be real.
Now, outside of Barkley and Darren Waller, who's kind of been saved by Tyrod the last couple weeks, Waller looking like the guy that we all wanted him to be, as top 5, top 6 tight end. Is it Waller, Barkley, or bust in this offense, or do we think that Wan'Dale is carving out a nice role?
Right now, it still is. It's Darren Waller and Barkley or bust. Waller's number 1 on the team in targets at 49. The next highest is Darius Slayton with 32. I mean, I feel like I said this last week. But here's the thing. Wan'Dale Robinson, he's been warming up lately. I mean, he didn't play week 1 or 2. And I hate you. He didn't play week 1 or 2, and he's still 3rd on the target in teams. So, I mean, 3rd on the team in targets. Man, I'm dyslexic. But you can't start him yet. You can't start anybody outside of Waller and Barkley just yet. It's just Wan'Dale Robinson. Don't be surprised if maybe he kind of breaks out in the second half of the season, depending on, what happens with Tyrod Taylor and Daniel Jones.
Deeper leagues, you probably can give Wan'Dale a shot.
He deserves to be rostered, not started.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. Next game, Jacksonville Jaguars at the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're starting Travis Etienne. We could have a discussion about Trevor Lawrence after, if you guys want, after we talk about Calvin Ridley, because hot start.
Clayton, whose mom did Wilson go on vacation with?
Hot start from Calvin Ridley. Really cooled down the past few weeks. Like, what's going on? Are you starting him this week, or are you looking elsewhere?
Can I? And I'm not always right. I'll be the first one to admit this, but I know
we've seen your 2 silly string picks.
Last 2 and I'll probably get fucking silly stringed again because I picked Najee Harris this week.
Why would you do that?
I picked because why not go with the low hanging fruit when I've lost?
Did you go under? Oh, did you go under?
Yeah, I went under.
Oh, okay.
Under what?
You're going over or something.
I forgot. I think it was like 9.8.
He's gonna get over.
He probably will. Whatever.
Najee? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm over it. But here's the thing. I just got to give Dylan his shit here. I just remember, like, in week 2, should we be dropping Christian Kirk? And Christian Kirk is the better receiver.
It was week 2. I remember specifically saying week 2, he's playing a man coverage team that he absolutely destroys. That week he destroyed, and ever since then, Christian Kirk's been the alpha.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's been on. I mean, it's been pretty. Zay Jones hasn't played, so that probably helps.
Joe's been saying, like, when Zay Jones is on the field, Calvin Ridley is actually producing more. So here's the thing: Zay Jones has been ruled out already this week. So fire up Christian Kirk.
Oh yeah, but I think you should be starring Calvin Ridley too, but as like a wide receiver 3-ish. if you are in those type of leagues.
Well, it don't matter where you're at in your lineup, man.
He's rusty.
If you
Come
gotta,
on.
you gotta put.
He's rusty.
It's weird that in 4 of his 7 games, he's finished outside of top 50 as a wide receiver. That is never good to see for what is supposed to be the alpha of the offense.
We don't love that.
So he does have a good matchup. Apparently, Steelers give up the 7th most passing yards to wide receivers.
Sorry.
Unless you are super deep at wide receiver, you're starting Calvin no matter what. But he is not the alpha in this offense, clearly.
No,
At the moment, that's for sure. Are we still you rank for the site? And I'm sure you don't have your rankings pulled up right now, but just give me a rough estimate. Is Trevor Lawrence realistically a top 12 guy this week still? It's a pretty solid matchup.
I put him borderline top 12, yeah.
It's not great. What? Why can't we just have nice things? He's just not throwing enough touchdowns, right?
It's because
still the issue.
Because their defense is playing so much better to where he doesn't have to do as much. Plus, ETN is actually looking pretty impressive.
Once they get in the red zone, they're just running the ball with ETN.
Yeah. You guys know how I was so far in on ETN last season, and then I just kind of faded him this offseason for no real particular reason. It's not like I thought Bigsby was going to be some stud or anything. I just didn't. ETN just wasn't on my radar, and stupid Dylan. So.
I mean,
instead
Pearson did say he wants to get him 1,600 yards, so
I blew it.
We all should believe that, apparently.
Looking at the Pittsburgh side of things, and I know, Keith, we got a question from you. We'll get to it after we talk Steelers here, and we teased it a little bit. And Mike, is Najee back, or should we still rather start Jaylen Warren, because it's kind of been a trade-off here, back and forth the first 7 weeks of the damn season.
I hate saying that I already took the under on him for the silly string bets, because I'll still take Najee over Warren right now.
Okay, interesting.
Because Warren gets more targets, 11 for Warren to 6 for Najee the past 3 games, but Warren only has 14 more receiving yards than Najee on those 11 more targets. We're talking 64 to 50, and Warren has 10 catches to Najee's 5. So, I know he's not getting as many targets, but currently Najee is doing more with them. All right. So he has been more efficient over the past 3 games, which we like to see. He's getting more of the rushing attempts, pretty much doubled 42 to 23 over the past 3 games, and he's got 60 more rushing yards. So, if the receiving yards are going to stay that close, give me Najee, but it is very close. The past 3 games, they are only separated by 0.04 points. So, it is close, but just give me the guy who's a little bit more safer, who's getting more touches.
Very, very close. And then also George Pickens or Deontay Johnson. Still Pickens now, guys?
Well, Johnson was on the injury report, and he was a surprise, but then he was off the injury report today. But I still don't like the late injury report, so give me Pickens still, because it doesn't seem like Johnson's 100%.
And Albert brings up a good point. Do you think Ward's targets go down with Deontay?
Very possible. I feel like it's more likely than unlikely.
Sure, I get that. And then just to answer Keith's question here, we got DeAndre Hopkins, Josh Palmer, Darrell Henderson, and I think I know where us 3 are going to head, and that's Josh Palmer and Darrell Henderson for me. I can't do Will Levis, Malik Willis.
No, I agree completely.
It is going to be Will Levis. It took 2 weeks for DeAndre Hopkins to get used to Ryan Tannehill. I think it's going to probably take another 2 weeks, to get used to Will Levis.
Then he got to deal with Malik Willis for a little bit. Now he's got to deal with Will Levis. It's not great.
Yeah.
There's going to be a chemistry thing here where Palmer already has chemistry and Henderson is the lead back as of now.
Hopkins seems like a chemistry type of guy. He needs to have that.
I'll watch Levis just come in and target him 15 times and us be like, what the fuck?
I'm okay with dying on that hill.
If he targets him 15 times, he'll probably have maybe 5 receptions. Because all targets are not created equally.
Brutal.
Yep. And then speaking of that game, we're here. Can't wait to watch these two
I don't
offenses
wanna-
play football.
I
Atlanta
don't wanna.
Falcons at the Tennessee Titans.
You
All right,
can't make me.
let's talk Falcons first, man. And Fokker, who in this offense is in the circle of trust right now? Because we had some weird stuff happen, and Mike Kaplan, I've had to hear him rant about it all week since Sunday about Arthur Smith, and I did my Arthur Smith rant last
shut
year,
up.
Mike. So you're late to the party.
I shut up when I secured a victory on Monday, but I was ranting pretty much that whole fucking Sunday.
But who are the guys you can trust in this offense, man?
Not
Same
Arthur
as
Smith.
you can expect. London, Pitts, and Bijan. Bijan, I don't know what was going on there. Headache, stomach flu, who the hell knows? But
Percy Harvin headaches?
The joke on Twitter was arthritis.
Migraines?
he still has never finished lower than an RB22. He's not what you expected where you draft him as like an RB3. So you kind of failed there, Michael Plant. But
the RB.
anyways,
yeah.
You can fire him up as an RB2, I suppose.
Shots fired.
And feel fine.
It's all right, because I managed to get Kenneth Walker in the 6th round. That was nice, guys. Thank you.
Pitts is up and down. You got to deal with that. He's still in the circle. He is out-tarring Jonnu Smith in the past 2 games. Jonnu Smith now is on the outside looking in. He's Ben Stiller in the family, apparently. At the start.
Who's Jinxie Cat? That's what I want to know.
Great reference. Huh? London is in, obviously. Still wide receiver 3 last week. Saw 7 targets and was literally a neck broken away from a touchdown. So
yeah, you like seeing what you're seeing from London right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wide receiver 3, keep him there.
Yeah, Ritter has thrown it a little more.
We almost saw what happened to London. You know, what was currently happening to Bijan. An injury that didn't happen.
Damn near broke his neck trying to get a touchdown, man.
He got up. He was fine.
And Mike,
I would have been down for 40 minutes.
Our question down for you this week for the Tennessee Titans, and we touched on it already with Keith's question. And do you like DeAndre Hopkins in this matchup with Will Levis and Malik Willis?
No. He's wide receiver 36 past 3 games, and that's with Tannehill, Malik Willis, whatever. He's a fringe flex play this week. I'll give you that. I do like Henry this week. I mean, trade rumors going on about Derrick Henry. You got the trade deadline on Tuesday.
See, I don't think he'll do as much with all that going on. I
mean, you got a rookie quarterback starting. Why not involve the star of the offense a little bit more? You know, get some screens going to him. I really...
He ain't the star no more. He's getting traded. The star is freaking.
How do you raise the trade value on a trade? You
don't get him injured.
That's true. I'll give you that. You don't get him injured. But you also play him to raise the value. So like I'm getting a gut feeling it's just going to be a Derrick Henry week. Yes, it's going to be a bad matchup against the Falcons. Don't be surprised if it's 25 rushes for 80 yards, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 2 tutties.
I can see him getting in the end zone.
But here's the thing. Getting to the end zone is hard for these 2 teams. Titans are 26 in points per game, and Falcons are 29th. They're in the teens at 16 and some change.
It's gonna be a shit show.
So there's 2 touchdowns to go around for each team.
This matchup's so interesting because the Falcons are an offense who just want to run the damn ball, and what does Tennessee's defense do well? Stop the run.
You may think they want to run the damn ball, but isn't Ritter throwing like 35 times a game right now or some crazy shit?
That's true.
But, no, Arthur Smith just doesn't want you to do what he thinks he wants you to do.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Putting your mind in a blender right now. But before we move on, guys, I just want to throw this one at you, and I'm just coming up with some good questions here on the fly. If Derrick Henry gets traded, hypothetical, where would you rank Tajay Spears the rest of the season? Because of what we've seen from Tajay so far this year, he's been very, very solid when he gets on the field. RB2 as in 18 to 24, Mike, or 14 to 18?
I'd say more like 16 to 24 because he's going to get the volume.
I'd say borderline RB2.
You'd say borderline?
Ike a little
bit.
They're
going to want to get other running backs involved. They're going to try probably Haskins or whatever.
And when I say like 16, 17, that's a ceiling because
there's just no way I don't see him getting 20 touches a game right now.
No, I don't think
you're right.
Will.
But the 2 touchdowns, that's the thing. Your ceiling is determined by your touchdowns. Your floor is determined
but
by
that
your
offense is
value.
brutal, so he ain't getting 2 touchdowns.
But if he gets a good enough floor, he can break one off. We've seen him be explosive enough to break, take
and
one.
He is the pass catching back. So I just think when Derrick Henry leaves, he probably won't be.
He's
the
an RB2.
back.
He's an RB2.
It'd be more like Hassan Haskins because he's as big as the goal line back.
I can see that to an extent. I like what we've seen from Tajay so far.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the next one, we do got a question here from Sean. Do you flex Henderson or Waller this week? And actually give me the tight end, I think, here. Just because I'm not a huge Henderson guy as talent, and I know he's going to get the volume, but it could be a 19 for 60, no touchdown type of volume. So I think I'm in the Waller train here, Sean.
I'm going Waller as well because Cowboys we'll get to, or no, we already went through that, right? Henderson?
Yeah, we talked Henderson.
Yeah, Cowboys are decent against the run right now.
Mike, where are you going?
I hate starting 2 tight ends in a league. But I mean, thing is Cowboys are 9th against the running backs for fantasy total points a game. So it's a close one here. I still lean Henderson as the safer play because he's going to see more touches. Darren Waller is, if he catches 10 catches, we love that. We love that, but it's still not going to be as many touches as Henderson. So we want the volume in fantasy football, Sean. So I lean Henderson to be safe, but if you want to reach for the stars, go Waller because he has the higher ceiling.
That shouldn't be a question in 10-team leagues, man. You shouldn't have to choose between Henderson and Waller, a tight end that flex. You should have someone there to play.
Because all it takes is a Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp catch at the 1 yard line, 2 yard line.
Yeah.
Darrell Henderson has a 2 touchdown day, and he's going to outscore Waller.
I hear that to an extent. JB's siding with Eichen, I hear, and he's going to go Waller, so that's 3 out of 4. And
see,
then
if
Joe
it was tight end premium,
Joe has Waller 82, Darrell Henderson 88, so 4 out of 5 here, Sean. Mike is your lone standalone.
You can't forget Freeman's still there too, so he's gonna get some touches.
Rice.
Freeman will probably.
I like that, Sean. That's funny. He didn't
Fair
like
enough.
that, Ike. He thought you're taking shots.
Man, if only you drafted like DK Metcalf or something.
Oh,
Take
shut
it
up! You act
easy.
like you drafted so good.
That's not great, anyways.
Drafted Javonte.
I would rather start him over Darren Waller and freaking
Darrell Henderson.
dipshit in the flex.
What round
Right
did you
on.
get Williams in? 4th?
Huh?
What round did you get Williams
Guys,
in?
who
The
cares?
4th?
Javonte Williams?
Yeah.
Check the board down. Where'd I get him? Round like 6, 7, 8?
7, yeah.
Yeah,
looking at the
okay.
board right now. I'm looking at
You
the
could
board.
have had you could have had Kenneth Walker. Round 4th.
I can't wait till we get to the Broncos section because you are going to get schooled. You have no clue about anything Javonte Williams.
Here we go. Next game, guys. We're not to the Denver game yet. We're not. We're at the battle of the NFC East
That's the
teams
heavyweight
that I feel
battle.
like we just saw 2 weeks ago. All right, that's right, because we did just see this 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Washington Commanders. And Ike, Devonta Smith doing some things. He's doing some sort of thing. I'm not too sure. With everybody, with no buys this week, we're still starting Devonta Smith, right?
Yes, I get the shit on my plants picking a little bit more because Devontae Smith, your so-called savior of God for the top 12 wide receiver, has 3 straight wide receiver finishes outside top 40, 4 of the last 5 to be exact. But the game he did not he finished inside top 40 was against his Commanders, which he finished as a top 30 wide receiver. So apparently Washington can't guard Devontae.
Oh, yeah. And Washington can't guard anybody. You
got to start him as a wide
top
receiver
10
3,
finish.
but where you drafted him as a borderline wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, you are probably disappointed right now.
Yeah, you most definitely are disappointed.
You see
Ike, do you
this?
still
I'm shedding a tear.
Huh?
I'm shedding a tear.
I hope so.
Ike, do you still have 100% confidence in DeAndre Swift as wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 flex play every week?
Running back 1.
Running back 1? Okay. Yeah.
You're
gonna rank him as a top 12 guy this week? You're gonna rank him as a top 12 guy this week? DeAndre Swift?
Oh yeah. He gets I wouldn't say an elite workload, because to me an elite workload is 20 plus. But he gets around 17 to 18. So I mean, other than
that's RB2 volume, but you're on a good offense, so it kind of bumps.
I mean, how many running backs are getting that much volume? Like maybe 5, 6.
James Cook.
James Cook is not getting 18 touches a game, and if he is nowhere near as efficient as
15 to 16. He's getting.
Well, then it's nowhere near efficient as DeAndre Swift. Granted,
but I'm saying that's RB touch. That's RB2 kind of like volume is what.
How many touches do you want for an RB1 then? 5?
20.
He's 2 off from 20. How is that not close to RB1?
I'm sorry, you're 2 off of riding this line.
Name 12 running backs that get 20 touches. I can wait.
There's not.
All right, go on. I'll pull it up.
Well, you're the next question. So
yeah, I'm gonna say, how are we supposed to go out here, my friend?
Well,
we're starting Dallas Goedert. We're starting Dallas Goedert. That's for sure. And obviously, you're starting Jalen Hurts, Mike. I can't stall any longer. We need to move on to the Commanders.
Can you just admit that DeAndre Swift is worth the top 12 running back? Because, come on, how many running backs are there worth that?
Well, I mean, the running backs are hurting right now. So
thank you. Okay, let's move on. Go to the next question.
4, 5,
thank you.
6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 running backs right now averaging 20-plus carries.
All right, cool. So
20-plus touches.
Let's move on.
All right.
Well, DeAndre Swift's a top 14 in touches per game, so.
Are any of those running backs that are getting 20 touches a game, is Brian Robinson one of them?
It's a good segue, but no, he's not.
Damn it. Are we starting him, or is he outside the top? Because I really fucked that up. Are we starting him because he's finished outside the top 24 in 2 out of his past 3 weeks?
I mean, last time we played the Eagles, he finished as RB15 and he got saved because of a touchdown. Obviously, if you take that touchdown away, which we can't, he'd be RB2, RB3. So he's touchdown dependent at this point because he's only got 30 touches in the past 3 games. That's 10 a game. For you that can't do math, I'm looking at you like. He's averaging 13.7 touches a game. That's less than Deontay Foreman in the 3 games he's been the starter. So, like, I mean, he's got 14 a game. So, like, he's just not getting the volume we thought he would. So, which makes him touchdown dependent, just like I said. So, like, if you got a better option, play him. But I understand if you're desperate because the running back situations ain't great.
If you had to rank these 3 wide receivers for this week, how are you ranking them? Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson.
Just how you said it. Yeah, just how you said it. Curtis Samuel's involved more than we thought, which is just so fun, guys. Aren't you enjoying it? Aren't you enjoying seeing the ghost of Curtis Samuel back when Jahan
No ghosty yet. He's not a ghosty yet. It's just Rod Rivera's guy.
No, I think it's more Bieniemy. He's kind of using him as that Tyreek Hill role where he moves him around, gives motion, all that. So but it's just like how you said, it's McLaurin, Samuel, Dotson. You roster Dotson for the rest of the year, hoping that something changes or maybe there's an injury. But yeah, you're sitting Dotson this week.
Are you sure that's not Josh Doxson from like 5 years ago?
He's better. He's better than him.
That was funny. That was a good.
Thank you.
I like that. Logan Thomas or Dallas Goedert this week?
Dallas Goedert.
Right on. Next game here, guys. We're finally getting into the afternoon games, and we're about an hour into the show, but we're having fun. It's been a good time, guys. Like, I know you're talking about making it an hour show.
Yeah, that.
He's got a terrible sense of time if you don't know him.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
When Ike says he's here, he's still 6 minutes.
Right in the dome.
Ike texts you he's here when he's at your when he's 6 minutes down the road away from your house.
And then
It's
he says he's gonna leave soon, and soon is 30 minutes later.
Yep. I'll play Call of Duty in about 20 minutes and an hour.
I hate both of you. Shut the fuck
up. Cleveland Browns
punch both of us in the dome.
Cleveland Browns taking out the Seattle Seahawks. Ike, Jerome Ford banged up. Not gonna play. Are we back here again with Kareem Hunt as a top 24 guy this week?
Unfortunately, he is. He's gonna get the playing time. Who else is in the backfield?
Pierre Strong.
He's finished as an RB once already. He's finished as an RB2 once as well. And with Ford out now, he's gonna get even more touches. So, I mean, with the running back so decimated, you gotta go with him. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And then, Mike, let me ask you this: who would you rather start, Dalton Kincaid or Amari Cooper in your flex?
For those of you who don't know, I had to make that decision in my home league. So we're going with Amari Cooper, even though, man, Dalton Kincaid is going to be a tight end one for the rest of the year, and you can mark my words on that.
So we can pretty much put the tight. And we're not even talking Buffalo. They already played, but you could put the rookie tight ends don't produce thing to bed because we're having two rookie tight ends.
Laporta's doing good. Mayer has had a few spots. Not as great, but
Kincaid's solid. We've seen Luke Musgrave be solid too this season at times. So put that narrative to bed. Mike, let's go ahead and jump into the Seattle Seahawks. Are you worried about
that narrative to bed? It's just we had a really good, talented tight end class. But go on.
We did.
They got to
land in good situations. That's all part of it as well. But Mike, are we worried about Tyler Lockett? He only has 2 top 24 finishes on the season, and we thought that he was going to be a rock solid, set it and forget it, wide receiver 3.
Well, I mean, he's already battling a hamstring injury. He is expected to play this week, but we don't like hamstring injuries. They like to linger. Browns are allowing the second fewest receiving yards behind only the Jets, allowing 4.9 per reception, which Lockett is a big play type of guy. So I am worried about him.
The Seahawks receivers are.
I mean, you're a DK lover, so it's nice to hear you say that. I'm worried about him and DK in this matchup. He's been wide receiver 40 or worse in the 4 other games that he hasn't finished in the top 24. So it's like he is, unfortunately, boom or bust this year.
Yeah, that's totally fair, guys. I definitely missed this. JB said Jerome Ford practiced today.
He's questionable. He is questionable.
So that's a miss on my part.
He wasn't ruled out.
Then Sean brings up a good point. And we're actually talking about this game now, Sean. Yeah. If Ford plays, think there's a snap count?
I would go Hunt over Ford, 100%.
It was an ankle injury for Ford, right? That's what worries me.
He's definitely going to be at a snap count, I think, in my opinion. They were contemplating putting him on the IR. Like, they didn't do it, but they were contemplating it, so. It's all right. His RB2 is Javonte Williams. We'll get to him later.
Come on. He's not in my RB2. He's like my RB4.
Then who's your 2 other RBs ahead of him?
Breece Hall and Swift. Come on.
Well, first of all, I knew about Hall, but I'll give you Swift.
Next game here, guys. We got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Ike, if you had to start someone outside of Lamar, Andrews, Flowers, who would it be? And I didn't leave you with much options here, my friend. So I'm interested to see where you go with this one.
No worries.
Like we've been saying all podcasts, running backs have been decimated. If you have been destroyed by injuries at the running back position, I guess you can go Gus Bus. He's got 12 plus carries in the last 4 games. With no bye weeks, you probably shouldn't have to use him, but again, there's some injuries, so you might have to. Other than that, Odell in deep leagues, he saw his highest snap percentage, his highest targets, catches, But still, you don't feel great starting really anybody from this offense except for Andrews, Lamar, and Zay.
Yep. I agree there. Not really much else to touch on, but I do agree Gus is the clear guy over Justice Hill, and that was something.
Yeah, which I thought a couple
been
weeks
on.
ago, I thought it was Justice Hill because I thought he got the red zone threats. But, I mean, Gus is getting 80-yard catches for some reason.
Well, and Hill was out snapping Gus, which he still might do, but it's one of those things where Gus is still just touching the ball way more.
Just more efficient.
Justice Hill for sure. Mike, Marquise Brown revenge game? Is he a top 36 guy this week? Because he's had back-to-back tough weeks the last two.
I mean, revenge games are real, and yeah, it's going to happen. He's 14th in target share for all wide receivers, guys. All wide receivers, he's 14th in target share with 27%. He's 11th in total targets, so the volumes there, target share is a skewed statistic. Only 4 targets behind Keenan Allen, Ike's boy down there, who's wide receiver 5 right now. It's just a case of all targets are not created equally. He is getting 9.3 targets the last 3 games, which is the same as Cooper Kupp has been averaging the last 3 games, and we're not worried about Cooper Kupp being a top 36 wide receiver. It's just Marquise Brown is only catching 3.7 of those 9 targets. So, he's just got to catch more of them. Once he catches more of them, he's going to be back into that wide receiver 2, high upside wide receiver 2 range.
I hope Brown has a good game too, because I don't know if he saw, but someone in the Ravens secondary, I forget, it might have been Marlon Humphrey, was running his mouth saying that nobody's scared of Marquise Brown, and he was here for years, and everybody knows what he is, and all that stuff. So
he's like a one-trick pony or whatever.
Yeah, hopefully Brown has. Hopefully he shuts him up.
I hope he just destroys Marlon Humphrey.
Yeah, that would.
Sean said you're famous for Irish goodbyes too.
Absolutely. He did that Wednesday night at Bowling. He just left.
It's called it's rebranded to the Ike-ish goodbye.
Next game, guys, we got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos. Another game that we just saw a couple weeks ago. And Ike, we've talked about him every week, and I'm just gonna let you keep doing it. And I put in our group chat the other day that this guy is gonna win people leagues this season. Rashee Rice. Go ahead and pitch him, my friend.
Top wide receiver. First off, he's not the first option in the offense. Obviously, everybody knows that's Kelsey. But he is the second option. His snap percentage is finally going up more and more. He's at 59%. He's had 3 straight wide receiver 3 or better finishes. 2 of them were wide receiver 2. He's actually 12th among all wide receivers in red zone targets, which is pretty impressive for a rookie and for someone who's not on the field very much. And thanks to Player Profiler, which I saw this, he is 3rd among all wide receivers in route win rate. So he's winning routes at an insane rate for a rookie. That's super impressive. And for Dynasty, get as much as you can of them. For redraft, for second half, get as much as you can of them.
I like everything you just said there. I do. Isaiah Pacheco on this offense, definitely a set it and forget it borderline RB1, probably 12 to 16 range if I had to guess, Ike, in your rankings, correct?
Yes.
Yep. But let's jump into the team and the question that we've all been waiting for that we've plugged 3 times like the plan. I'm just going to mute my mic after I ask the question and just let you guys go. Is Javonte back in our good gracious after last week?
No. And I'm sure you already assumed that answer, from our little plugs earlier, but no. He has 1 RB2 finish all year, and that was last week, and he was RB20.
Yeah, but can you tell me how many snaps he played in those games before he actually got that best finish?
I'm very ecstatic. He had 52.5% of the snaps.
Weird. First time he hit over 50%, he actually finishes as an RB20, huh?
But it wasn't the first time that he hit over 15 touches. So, he got his best game of the year with the most volume of the year on the most snaps of the year in one of the better matchups he's going to have on the year because the Packers allow the third most points to running backs in PPR at 27 a game.
But how can you expect him to get less?
He still only scored 12.6 in a great matchup that allows 27 points a game to running backs. So, like, it was his best game of the year, and he still barely finished as an RB20. So, like, here's the thing, and Ike, I'll let you go after I say this, but he's coming off a multi-ligament injury. I'm going to beat it like a dead horse. The reason Breece Hall has been doing well is because he just had an ACL tear. All right. We have an MCL and an ACL tear for Javonte Williams. There are going to be injuries that are aggravations of that hip and other aspects of his body that are going to have to take on the load of that multi-ligament injury. So I wish no ill will on the guy whatsoever, but I would not be surprised if he gets injured, especially if the workload increases even more. But go on, Ike.
We got Dr. Mike and Dr. Mercado on the show, guys.
Oh my God.
I mean, I've never said I was a doctor. Ike did. Ike said he was the
RB20. The first time he gets 50% snaps. First time this year, he gets an RB20. He looks fantastic. Past 2 games, he's averaging 5+ yards per carry. His breakaway run rate is top 5 the past 2 games. His breakaway runs is top 5 the past 2 games.
Nice.
He looks back to his normal self. He's going to get his snaps back. He's going to get the carries. He's going to get the touches. If you think Jaleel McLaughlin is going to take his snaps, you're crazy because that dude is nowhere near as talented as Javonte Williams. Samaje Perine is dead in the water. So if you don't think this dude is an RB2 or better for the rest of the season, I'm sorry, you haven't been watching him.
I think he's a fringe RB2. All right, here's the thing. He's averaging 2 targets the past 3 games. The past 3 games, he's averaging 2 targets, and that's what gives him his value, is it not?
No, it's not, because he is averaging 5 yards per carry. He had a touchdown last game that was called back. Give him that touchdown. We're talking a completely different thing for him.
He's averaging 5 yards a carry, but yet Jaleel McLaughlin's averaging 6.8 on only 6 less rushing attempts.
So you're telling me right now you would rather have Jaleel McLaughlin over Javonte Williams based off that alone?
No, but my
point then it's done. It's done. He's not going to get the touches you want.
My argument was never Jaleel. My argument was never Jaleel over Williams. My argument is I don't think Williams is a rock solid RB2 because you have the mixture of the injury or re-aggravations of possible injuries, plus the emergence of Jaleel McLaughlin. You think Sean Payton's going to go, you know what? McLaughlin's played so good, we're just going to bench him.
Let's play
when the supremely talented running back is back to form, yeah.
Let's play name game, guys.
Zach Moss carved a role. I think
he's going to lose his touches, though, to the supremely talented running back.
Javonte Williams or Gus Edwards?
Javonte. Completely. I would take Javonte over Henderson. I'd take him over Pierce. He's an RB20 this week.
Javonte Williams or Brian Robinson?
Javonte.
That one's closer, but I will go Javonte.
Javonte Williams or Najee
more volume.
Harris?
We just talked about Brian. We just talked about Brian Williams only averaging 13 touches a game. If Javonte gets 18 touches, I like it. Don't get me wrong, but my whole argument is coming off a multi-ligament injury and the increased touches.
That don't mean shit to me right now. You saying him coming off a multi-ligament injury don't mean shit to me because he looks better or just as good as he did last year coming off the injury.
And we're 8 weeks in at this point.
I understand that.
Michael Plant, top 5 in breakaway runs the past 2 weeks. He's back. Deal with it.
Tell me about those breakaway runs when Mike Davis was the leader in that fucking category.
What?
I mean, he was, and we loved Mike. But I'm just
bring it up. Let me see the stat. Put it on Twitter. Let me see it. Bring it up. Let me see the receipts. Come on.
Don't always.
Let me see the receipts.
Okay, guys, we're good. Let's
bring
go
it
ahead.
Up, bro.
Good battle there. Good battle there. Let's go to the next game here. We got the Cincinnati Bengals. We got the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Ike, out of the bye week, do you expect a bounce back from T. Higgins in this one? Because let's be real, he hasn't been good. Minus 1 week. Lately, he's been because of the rib injury. But maybe after the bye, he's healthier. Do you like him?
He did fracture his rib, I believe. right? That's what it was.
Yep, one rib. Yep.
Ouch.
Before that, he was actually getting 4 targets per game, the back-to-back games, 4 finishes outside top 75, which is brutal. But coming off the bye week with everybody on this offense coming off or getting healthier, including Joe Burrow, the offensive line and all that, I think they're going to want to get him back to his normal snap percentage, which is around 80% instead of 50, which has been the past few games. I wouldn't be totally invested in it, but he should have a mild bounce back. I mean, 49ers do somehow give up a lot of pass yards for some reason.
That's because Charvarius Ward is their leading cornerback.
Yeah, you just can't run on that.
You're telling me Diamador Lenore isn't the guy?
We really need to see something from T. Higgins pretty soon because he's been one of the bigger busts of the season.
It goes to show they definitely aren't paying him this year. He's going to be a free agent.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Joe Burrow being banged up with the
Why
calf
would you
injury
pay him
definitely
when you have
hasn't
Jamar
helped.
Chase?
No, he's going to be a Chicago Bear next year. All right, he's going to take Darnell Mooney's spot and whoever the Bears quarterback is.
We're going to get Marvin Harrison, bro.
I was going to say, why would you sign him when you can just draft him?
I'd rather have Marvin Harrison than any world.
You could fill the rest of the million holes that the Bears have.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I like Burrow this week too. I think he's a top 12 guy. Another week healthier with the calf. Hopefully that helped him. Like you said, you could pass on this San Francisco defense.
And that's all the Bengals can do right now.
But talking about the 49ers, talk about a team who's not getting healthier. And that's them. Brock Purdy in concussion protocol still might be a go. You got Deebo Samuel out. Christian McCaffrey dealing with a slight tear to his, was it his bicep or what?
Oblique.
That's
oblique. Oblique. I don't know how to deal with that, but that doesn't seem fun.
But Mike,
he looked fine. He was RB5. I mean, so like until it's like serious, keep plugging them in.
With Purdy's weapons a little bit banged up and him banged up himself, is he a top 12 guy this week after struggling a bit the last 2 weeks? Or are you looking elsewhere, per se, like a Dak Prescott or something?
This is why I answered your question earlier in the Cowboys matchup. So, yes, in your situation, between Purdy and Dak Prescott, I'd be starting Dak Prescott this week.
Purdy might not even play.
Right.
Well, yes, he might not even get through the concussion protocol, but if he does, Bengals are the 10th toughest matchup against QBs. Their defense has actually been pretty stout. And here's the thing. He's kind of pulling a Justin Fields a little bit. He's only thrown the ball an average of 27 times the past 3 games. Not a lot of volume there. It's kind of attributing to that QB 16 finish in the past 3 weeks. So, like, obviously the volume's an issue. The Debo injury is an issue. The Trent Williams injury is an issue. So, like, Brock Purdy... Brock Purdy is just not a top 12 guy this week. He's probably more like in the 16, 18 range or Prescott.
I wouldn't even think about starting him. I literally, he's not going to play. Come on.
He was in stage 4 of the concussion protocol. Yeah. And he's only passed 1 more. So it's
why would you risk it though?
I keep teasing it. Let's talk Sam Darnold a bit here then. Do you think Sam Darnold in this tough matchup that Mike's explaining, do you think he can support George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk? Or do you think this is going to be strictly a Christian McCaffrey type of game?
It's a good question because I have to deal with this because I have Ayuk and I have to decide between him and Metcalf for my flex. So Ayuk is clearly going to be the top option like he is pretty much most weeks, even with Debo there. But I don't know how Sam Darnold is going to be. I would start Ayuk as a wide receiver 3 for most teams. I would leave Darnold on the bench, obviously. Kittle, you got to start because tight ends suck, but still, you're not excited. Yeah.
It's like Kyle Pitts. You're just riding the wave with George Kittle at this point.
Up and down. For sure. 1 week you'll get a 5 from him, but that week you'll get a 40, and it's like, well, all right.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Mike, anything to add, or can we move on to Sunday Night Football? You're muted, my friend. That's $2 in the jar.
Nope. I realized it. I realized it won't be a 40-point week, but Ike's right.
Yeah, totally fair. Sunday Night Football, we have the Chicago Bears taking on the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Chargers might be on upset alert here, guys. Let me be the first one to say it. Ike, Roshan cleared concussion protocol finally. He is off the injury report and 100% a go. This muddies up the backfield, though, my friend. We really, really liked Roshan before the injury, and if he was healthy, we thought he was going to be the guy in the backfield. But now we've seen back-to-back 2 very solid games from D'Onta Foreman. What do you expect this backfield to look like this week?
I mean, I guess they got defined roles.
Ooh,
Rashawn Johnson is definitely going to be the third down back.
Yep.
So, I mean, you can expect, if you're in PPR, he's a risky flex at best, but I would, with no bye weeks, I would leave him off the radar. Foreman, he's got to get in the end zone for you to really be worth it. But again, with no bye weeks, I don't think he's worth it. I think again, Javonte Williams should be started over him. I think Henderson should be started over him.
I'd start Roshan over Javonte.
What?
I would.
Wow, that's some wild stuff. To an extent, I can understand a bit because with the rookie Tyson Bagent, secret Bagent man, he could look to check down to Roshan quite
Raiders
often as a safety
great
blankie.
Defense against RBs.
I'm sorry.
Raiders is a great matchup.
They play the Chargers,
RBs.
pal.
Oh, my apologies. Chargers still are still a great matchup, top 10 when it comes to RB points per game. So, I mean, Roshan is the more explosive back. We've seen it.
I get your argument. I would.
No, he's not.
I would start Javonte Williams over Roshan.
I meant over
Roshan done.
I meant over D'Onta Foreman, not Javonte Williams. I knew you.
No.
Yeah,
I literally mean it. When is Roshan done better than D'Onta Foreman?
Been more explosive.
How?
I don't think I would agree with that, Mike, but he's a better pass blocker, better pass catcher, that's for sure.
Sure, yeah. Better runner, no chance.
But D'Onta Foreman's going to have 10
Jamie
carries. D'Onta Foreman's going to have like 10 carries for 56 yards, and it's going to be a batter of it.
I don't want to start either one of them. And the fact that you say you want to start Roshan over Javonte Williams just completely floors me, and I don't want to get into it. I don't want to start another argument. Let's just move on.
Okay, there's a difference between wanting to, all right, and actually doing. I don't want to do it, but if I had that choice, I would start Roshan over Javonte Williams.
You're just...
That's fair.
I can't. I can't right now.
I'm
sorry.
Right with your opinion, but
just
I don't agree with it, Mike.
Jamie just said Roshan was RB8 in week 1. Javonte Williams' best week was week 20. Give me the ceiling of Roshan.
Yeah. That was all garbage time, though. I'm going to get...
you act like garbage time isn't a thing in the NFL.
It could be.
So the Broncos aren't going to get garbage time against the Chiefs?
They could.
Let's check out the Chargers, guys.
I'm done. I'm done with the Javonte talk. he clearly has something against Javonte for some reason. I don't know why. Just move on. Go to the next.
Clearly, like the multi-ligament knee injury that he's got.
This is insane. I can't believe it.
Just this year. Next year, he's
Roshan Johnson, Michael Plant. Roshan Johnson over Javonte Williams. Are you high?
We don't want to answer that question. We're on a family.
Just move on.
Family
please.
show.
I'm done.
I would still start.
Move on.
I would still
move
on. Mike, let's talk Chargers. Josh Palmer. I want to say he saw 10 targets last week. Not 100% positive on that. Stat check me. 9, 10. Producer in the back. Somebody stat check me. I'm just kidding.
There's no producer in the back. He had but last week.
Is Josh Palmer a set it and forget it flex in this matchup as the number 3 option in this pass game behind Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen?
At this point, actually, he's not the number 3. I mean, the last 3 games, he's had more targets than Eckler. I know Eckler's being acclimated into the offense, but if you want to talk about passing targets, Palmer's been the number 2 guy in this offense. He's averaging 7 targets a contest the past 3 games, which we love as a flex play. He's wide receiver 31 in those 3 games. I saw that comment.
I like that shot. That's funny, man.
He will be seeing ghosts.
JV said, "Suck it, Ike."
But
I'm getting frustrated, man.
You're
I
flabbergasted.
just want to leave. I legit just want to leave right now. Not even kidding.
that's all right. But the Bears are actually been all right against wide receivers. They're middle of the pack, 15th best matchup against wide receivers. Pretty much like dead middle of the pack.
Their
so,
secondary's better. The
it
Bears
is. Jalen
stink, but their
Johnson stepped up.
secondary's better.
Jalen Johnson has stepped up. So like he's a flex rest of season. There's games he could finish like wide receiver 10 like last week, but he's mainly like a wide receiver 3 flex.
Yeah. That's totally fair, guys. We got one more game left.
I don't know if I can make it through.
Don't ask me why this is the Monday night game, but it is. We got the Las Vegas Raiders, the Detroit Lions. I don't know who thought this was ever going to be a good game, but it's probably not going to be a good game. Ike, does Josh Jacobs stink?
I wouldn't say he stinks, but I would say he's getting back to game shape still. I mean,
come on, we're into week 8. Stop saying that. You can't say it anymore.
He looks a little off. I'm not gonna lie. His 2.9 yards per carry is literally right there with Dameon Pierce. So
it's better. It's better. It's better though. 2.7 for Dameon.
5.1. But he's still getting fucking 20.6 touches per game, which is 6th in the NFL. I mean, you gotta respect that. He's seeing a career high in targets per game at 5.6. Although Lions allow 3rd fewest points to running backs, which is around 15 points per game. With no other running back doing anything for the Raiders, 15 points is fine for Jacobs. You can take that to the bank.
He's got a good floor, just no ceiling.
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah, his ceiling is if he happens to fall out of the end zone a couple times.
Just give me 12 to 16 points. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
He's getting more touches a game than DeAndre Swift, though. Those are elite numbers. 20.
Hey, elite workload. Just he can't do. He is averaging 2.9 with it.
Who would have
elite
thought?
Workload, not elite efficiency. Let me tell you.
Who would have thought though that these quarterbacks would produce 2 wide receivers pretty solidly though? Devontae Adams. Pretty solid last week. Got a bunch of targets early, and Jacoby Myers just doing wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 things, and he deserves to be in your lineups in 10 team, 12 league, 14 team leagues. He deserves to be there. But looking at the Lions side of things, Mike, and no David Montgomery still. We saw what Deonta Foreman did to this Raiders defense last week on the ground. Jahmyr Gibbs, absolute smash start this week. Joe had him as a top 12 running back in his rankings last week, and it worked out.
I imagine he has him in the top 12 again because the Raiders are the top 5 best matchup to have against running backs right now. And Jahmyr Gibbs saw an 86.7% snap count to Craig Reynolds, I think like 8%. It wasn't even big enough to note. So 25.3 a game to running backs for the Raiders, like with Monty not practicing, he's out. Craig Reynolds is not a part of this offense, really. I mean, unless maybe Jahmyr Gibbs gets tired. Yeah, he's going to be a lock and load for a top 10 running back finish this week.
Yeah, Craig Reynolds is the change of pace guy to Jahmyr Gibbs now. That's what we've seen. The 2 times Jahmyr Gibbs has been the bell cow without David Montgomery there, so it's definitely nice seeing Jahmyr Gibbs. You're starting Amon-Ra St. Brown. You're starting.
But once Monty's back, though, I 100.
Yeah, Monty's daddy when he's
I expect it to go back, unfortunately.
Yep.
So
unless Jahmyr Gibbs starts just going bonkers,
play him while you can.
Yeah. Yep, for sure, guys. But that wraps it up. It took us a while, but we finally got here to the end. We appreciate everybody listening.
You want to go an extra round?
No, I've already been frustrated enough.
If you haven't hit that like button yet, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. We really do appreciate it. And then head on over to fantasy6pack.net/plans and become an all access member. Cheaper than a cup of coffee from Starbucks, guys. Just
apparently.
I don't know if that's a knock on Starbucks or like a benefit for us.
It's gotta be a knock on Starbucks because who would pay $10 for a cup of coffee?
To be fair, you could win more than that 10
100%.
bucks with the membership, and you ain't winning shit with that
10
coffee.
cups of coffees, man, you could buy with the amount of money that you're going to win with.
You
The only
listen to
thing
Chris
you're winning with
Robin,
Starbucks
Dave,
is fucking
caffeine high.
for about an hour.
Yep. This is glasses in about an hour. But yeah, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. It was a great time tonight. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe, like I already said.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah, he's just piecing out of here. So, but make sure you check us out on the Sunday social on Sunday. Michael Plant and I will be there talking bets with Alan. Talking rankings with Joe Bonds, talking start sits with Jordan Schultz, and then handing it on over to Dave Eddy and Chris Robin, maybe even Keith Fleming. Who knows? It's just it's a great time on the Sunday show, so make sure to check that out. I'm not sure. I saw that
he's doing Dave things.
I saw Keith was filling in for him on the DFS Den today as well. But yeah. But until Sunday, guys, for Mike and Ike, we will talk to you next time.
Adios.